Hi friends, my name is Rohit Ramaya. The topic of my presentation is IEEE 802.16, which is also known as the WiMax. This is the outline of my presentation today. I'll be giving the introduction and be defining what the IEEE 802.16 is. Then I'll be explaining some of the features, what WiMax is made up of, the working procedure. Then I'll give the difference between the WiMax and the Wi-Fi, which shows us WiMax is better than the Wi-Fi. Then I would have a word about the limitations and the future work. So now let us see how important the internet is. Well, we all know internet is one of the basic needs for a man in the worldwide, for a man in an urban area, for everyday updates to get to a certain location, to get updates on the weather. Internet is very important. Well, today internet has been accessed by many methods, and the main three methods are the broadband access, the Wi-Fi access, and the dial-up access. So let us see what are the problems associated with these three access methods. In the broadband access, uh, we find it to be a little expensive and it does not cover a large area. Well, the same depends on the Wi-Fi. Even it gives about a better area coverage than the broadband access. There again, low range hotspots. So when it comes about the dial-up access method, there are limitations of speed. So all these problems can be tolerated by the WiMax. So let us see what WiMax and the IEEE 802.16 exactly is. Well, the IEEE 802.16 is a series of wireless broadband standards set by the IEEE, that is the Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers. It was later officially named as Wireless MAN, and then it got the street form was WiMax, which is known as the Worldwide Interoperability for Microwave Access. The 802.16 is a standard which again has a series of broadband standards like 802.16, 802.16a, E, which differ based on certain features such as the spectrum, configuration, bitrate, modulation, mobility, and the typical cell radius, etc. And you can see in the table that how these different standards vary. Well, our focus in the presentation is on the IEEE 802.16 standard as a whole. So now let us see some of the features of the WiMax. WiMax provide a very high data rates up to 40 megabits per second. The broadband access range of WiMax is of 30 to 40 miles for the line of sight links, that is in an ideal condition, and up to 4 to 7 miles for a non-line of sight things, that is for a certainly thick urban environment. So thus it provides higher speed in the wireless links. The WiMax has adopted some of its technology from a Korean based technology called Vibro. The WiMax uses a mesh topology, well, so as Wi-Fi, um, and then it uses microwaves for the wireless data transfer. The WiMax also supports the frequency division duplex and the time division duplex, which help to implement a low-cost system. It supports strong encryption using the advanced encryption standards. They have a robust privacy and key management protocol. They also support mobility for applications such as voice over IP. The Wi-Fi Forum has defined its own reference network architecture, which is based on an all IP platform, which we would see through later. Also, the WiMax has a scalable bandwidth and data support rate. So now let us see what the WiMax is made up of. The WiMax system is basically made up of a WiMax base station and a WiMax receiver. As earlier defined, that the WiMax forum has its own IP-based network architecture. It has three main parts, that is the mobile station and the access service network and the connectivity service network. The other functional entities would be the base station and the access service network gateway. So now let us see what the IP-based network architecture works. The base station is responsible for providing the A interface to the mobile station, while the additional functionalities of the base station is to provide micromobility management functions such as the handoff triggering, tunnel establishment, radio resource management, key management, the dynamic host control protocol, proxy, the session management, and etc. The access service network gateway uh, typically acts as a layer 2 traffic aggregation point within an access service network. The additional functions of the access service network gateway would be the access service network location management and paging, the radio resource management, admission control, the AAA client functionality, establishment and management of mobility tunnel with base stations, the foreign agent functionality for the mobile IP, and routing to the selected connection service network. The connection service network, in the end, they provide the connectivity to the internet, the application service provider, other public networks, and the corporate networks. The connectivity service network is owned by the network service provider, that is the carrier company, and includes the AAA servers that support authentication for the devices, users, and specific services. Again, the connectivity service provider network is responsible for the IP address management, for roaming between different network service providers, location management between the ASNs, and the mobility and roaming between ASNs. Now let us see about the physical and MAC layers of the WiMAX. The WiMAX physical layer is based on an orthogonal frequency division multiplexing, which is a scheme to enable high-speed data, video, and multimedia communications. It is used by a variety of commercial broadband systems such as the DSL, Wi-Fi, was the existing one, digital video broadcast handheld, uh, other than WiMAX. Uh, the physical layer have hooks in the design to implement applications such as beamforming, space-time coding, and spatial multiplexing. The WiMAX MAC layer was designed for the point to multipoint broadband wireless applications. The primary task was to provide an interface between the higher transport layers and the physical layers, uh, which it is doing well, and it is designed to support multiple connections per terminal, each within its own quality of service requirement. So this is a picture of how WiMAX works practically. You can see WiMAX towers are situated at different places in an area, and the internet service provider owns these towers. You can see two different means of where the WiMAX is done. One is to a big building on the right side, which where you have receivers, and you can also see another building which sort of looks like a house, where the WiMAX provides connection to the Wi-Fi hotspots and which serve internet to a house or small office. Also, there can be transmission between two transmitters, two WiMAX transmitters, and this phenomena is known as a backhaul. So now let us see some of the differences between the WiMAX and the Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi was originally released in the year 1997, while the WiMAX was released in the year 2004. Both the Wi-Fi and the WiMAX use two different IEEE standards. The Wi-Fi uses the IEEE 802.11 and the WiMAX uses the IEEE 802.16. Both have different series of standards. The frequency band of Wi-Fi is defined under the ISM bands where the user would not have to pay for the frequency usage, whereas the WiMAX usually runs on an unlicensed frequency band, and therefore it has no bar on the frequency usage in the WiMAX. Well, the range of a Wi-Fi is typically 100 meters. Well, for a WiMAX, it is in an ideal condition, it is about 30 to 40 miles. The channel bandwidth offered by the WiMAX is 20 megahertz, whereas the WiMAX offers a flexible bandwidth of about 1.25 megahertz to 20 megahertz. The MAC layer of the Wi-Fi uses a carrier sense multiple access with collision avoidance protocol, which is not a connection oriented protocol, uh, mm, uh, whereas the WiMax uses a connection oriented protocol. The data transfer rates in the Wi-Fi are up to 54 megabits per second, whereas in WiMax, the exchange rate itself is only 40 megabits per second. 40 megabits per second, and the maximum range varies upon the distance. The bandwidth efficiency of the Wi-Fi is up to 0.44 bits per second per hertz, to that is with the series A, to 2.7 bits per second per hertz for series like B, G, and N. Well, in WiMAX, it is typically twice than that of the Wi-Fi. That is, it offers a bandwidth efficiency of up to 5 bits per second per hertz. The encryption techniques used in the Wi-Fi are the advanced encryption standards and the RC4. Well, in WiMAX, as we saw again earlier, it offers robust security and it uses a triple data encryption algorithm and also uses the advanced encryption standards. The authentication methods used in the Wi-Fi are the extensible authentication protocol, wired equivalent privacy security algorithms, whereas in WiMAX it uses an X509 or the PKM v9. The applications of the Wi-Fi are usually for household and corporate needs for interconnectivity, uh, which uses to connect printers to computers, gaming consoles to router, etc. Whereas in WiMAX, it provides internet to a larger area where it serves household or the Wi-Fi hotspots, where we saw this part in the picture I showed you earlier. The Wi-Fi hardware specifications are usually small enough to be placed. They usually are made up of a 5 by 3-inch routers, whereas the WiMAX have serving towers, big serving towers. Well, let us see some of the limitations of the WiMAX. Well, the WiMAX have certain spectral limitations. It offers poor bandwidth when it serves a lot of clients, when there are a lot of receivers. Um, Also, currently, the installation operation is found to be pretty expensive, uh, and for a large scale usage, it is not reliable. The weather conditions like rain, storm can have an impact on the service, and the line of sight is needed for longer distances. Where I said longer distances offers a very good bandwidth, but again, there's a constraint, the interference with other wireless signals, and it needs huge amount of power, and there are multiple frequencies used in the WiMAX deployment, which causes a lot of interference. So the future work of the WiMAX are the current research of the WiMAX is very vigorous. Well, many people have regarded it as uh, a new revolutionary phase, a new revolution in the communication world. Well, the current research going upon the WiMAX is the deployment and design of multi-antenna systems in a non-stationary interference environment. Certain researchers are working on scheduling techniques for WiMAX. There's also a quality of service provision mechanisms in WiMAX where the researchers are working upon, and also on the implementation in the OpNet. Drexel University itself pursues a smart networking via WiMAX. Uh, the enhancing quality of service of voice over IP over WiMAX networks. So the WiMAX products are almost in the final phase of commercial development and the trial runs are already underway. So we all should get ready for a new wireless revolutionary phase. So these are the references where I pulled up the information from. Uh, so if there's any questions, please post on the link and I'll be happy to reply back. Thank you.